one of the things we'll teach people about is when we go in and do a training session with them, we'll say, look, first and foremost, you need to spot these clauses where we call them condition precedent clauses.
Yeah.
A clause that says, unless you do X within a short timetable and in a specific way, you're going to lose a right. So, we often see them in relation to things like extensions of time, loss and expense claims. An extension of time, unless you notify us within 48 hours of becoming aware that there's a circumstance that's going to delay your works, you lose all your rights to an extension of time. And it's not just you've got to notify us, you've got to notify us to a specific email address.
Yeah.
So if you send it to the other email address, that's not valid. You don't get your extension of time. So it's showing them all these things and going, look, you've got to comply with that, because if you get it wrong, you're losing out on a massive amount of money there.
Yeah.
And then it's saying, well, right, how do you manage that on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
Because your guys on site need to know when they need to tell the guys in the office, right, we've got to notify upstream that something's happened or not happened. So we'll advise doing like an operational checklist.
I love it.
On one side, sheet of A4, you stick it on with the contract, and it's got all the key stuff, extensions of time, how quickly do you have to notify delays? Who do you notify?
Yeah.
What if there are variations? Does it have to be in writing? If it's not in writing, what do we do about it? All of these sorts of things, just a kind of crib sheet.
Yeah. When you're talking there, I'm thinking to myself, the word or the double word, if you like, tripwire.
Yeah.
That there's tripwires all over these contracts.
Yes, yeah, there are.
And there's people constructing models to insert tripwires into contracts, knowing that certain individuals that might not be up to speed or aware or that might be blinded are going to not challenge these tripwires. And I suppose I look at it from my own sense of maturity. I remember signing contracts and I knew that there was certain areas in my gut feeling looking at the contracts, and I'm saying to myself, that doesn't sound right, but it's probably just a generic contract and everybody's doing the same and nobody's really got, done in terms of the commercials. Now, touch wood, there was a trust-based system in place which overrided the contract, but that's not always the case, and especially in construction.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. We hear a couple of things. One is we don't have a choice. If we don't sign this contract, we don't get the work. Well, okay, that may or may not be true.
Yeah.
But until you ask about amending terms, you're never going to know whether you can push back on them.